welcome to Yoga by Escafit. Quite often get asked about yoga for beginners, so people who maybe have done yoga before and haven't done it for a long time and then come back into it, or people who simply have never done any yoga who perhaps get told all the time, oh, you must try, give yoga a go. And a lot of people are quite apprehensive about coming into yoga because they think they're not going to be able to do the postures or make their body go into the shapes that might be they consider to be expected of them in that session. So with that in mind, I'm just going to run through a couple of asanas here and just show you ways that you can modify them. Particularly if you're at home, then you might click on YouTube and people might say to you, right, grab a block and a strap. You think, well, I don't know what you mean about a block or a strap. Perhaps you've never practiced yoga before. So just using what you can in the area in your house or whatever's around. So quite often I'll say, if you've got nothing to hand, grab a sock, although it's very hot here today, so there will be no socks to hand, or just something that would enable you. So a strap, this is just a scarf, is my very nice elephant scarf. But I've just grabbed it, it's in the house. I do have a strap, but I just wanted to show you. This is the strap, and this is my scarf. So ultimately you can just use this if you don't have a strap to hand. And the other thing is blocks, yoga blocks. Quite often they assist you or make the posture a bit more comfortable or a bit more available, accessible. But I'm actually in my living room right now, and imagine I don't have my block. I've just got a couple of cushions. So yeah, they're a bit more cumbersome. It's not ideal, a block would be better because it'd be smaller. But I can just, bring these cushions in and make myself comfortable. And basically it's just about making your practice a little bit more enjoyable, more comfortable, so that the whole time you're not thinking about how uncomfortable you are. And I know there's an element of yoga that requires you to kind of go beyond that. So you're in that sort of, it's about breathing through it, and if you're feeling that little bit of a burn in the muscles, or you're working into a posture, then you almost want it, you want to kind of have that mindfulness of being able to be in the posture and not instantly come out of it. But if you've got a bad back, or there's something not quite right, then if your body's sore, then that's all you're going to be thinking about, and you probably won't come back to do it again. So I'm just going to start off, we're just going to do a few minutes, a couple of asanas, simple asanas, postures, and just show you with these props, if you like, our replacement blocks and straps, how you can make it a little bit more comfortable for you, and alternatives that you can take when you're in a posture that maybe you feel needs to be made a bit more comfortable. So often you'll start off in Shavasana, and that's kind of what we're going to do. I'm only going to cover a couple of postures. But if you're lying back now, you just obviously need to make yourself feel as comfortable as possible. So clothes, things in the back. Sometimes people jog to class, you've got something in your back pockets. Just make yourself comfortable as possible. And then you're thinking about scooting the shoulders away from these. This is Shavasana, okay? This is otherwise known as corpse pose. So the first thing I always bring people's attention to is things like shoulders. So typically the first thing to increase in tension is shoulders, necks, okay? Things like that, jaw lines. So I always just want you to scoot the shoulders away from the ears, turn the palms up towards the ceiling, soften through the jaw, and really work into a position that's more comfortable for you. Anybody that has problems with their lower back may find bending the legs, putting the feet mat width apart, and just dropping the knees in together a much more comfortable position to be in, okay? And that is also absolutely fine. The palms are well away from the body in Shavasana, and you're just starting to connect with that breath in through the nose and out through the nose. So at this point, you're just taking steady breaths, this sort of yogic breath pattern. of breathing in through the nose, deeply right the way down into the bases of the lungs. Pausing gently at the top, exhaling out through the nose. As if you can't exhale any more breath out the lungs. And at that end of the breath, you're drawing the belly button in towards the spine, so you're activating the lower abdominal muscles, drawing the lumbar spine into the mat. Taking another deep breath in through the nose. Just notice how your body's feeling. You're holding any tension anywhere. Pausing gently at the top of that breath. Exhaling out through the nose. All the way. Making sure the shoulders relax at the end of that breath. Don't allow them to stay up by the ears. And when you're first beginning your yoga practice, this is something that you may not even know you're doing until people keep pointing it out or teachers keep pointing it out. So whether you're in that long leg shavasana or bent knee, I'm just going to ask you now to bring that right knee in towards the chest. So you're just slowly reaching behind the thigh. What you want to avoid here is lifting the shoulders off the mat. So if you're comfortable, you can extend this left leg. And if doing this, you feel you're here, struggling to get it, that's when your scarf comes in handy. You might find it actually really tight around the back of the legs and that you're straining to come up, and you don't want that tension through the shoulders. So this is where my elephant scarf comes in handy. I'm just going to wrap it around the back of my leg. I'm going to hold on to it, and then I'm going to just take the tension away from my shoulders. So use what you have around you. Toes are turning up towards the face. Important thing here is that my belly button is drawn in towards the spine. And I'm really keeping that back nice and flat into the mat. Tension's not in my shoulders. And I'm breathing. Remember, you can always keep this left leg bent. Doesn't have to be long if it's not comfortable. So it's always yogi's choice, particularly in my class. You know, you do what you feel happy doing. So now, I'm going to bend my left leg, and I'm just going to take my right ankle onto my left knee. Okay, I'm going to take the strap away for a moment. I want to show you what we're doing. So this is coming into what we call supine pigeon pose, and it's a really nice opener of the hip, and also the glute area. You might feel it just in this position. You might just be feeling nothing. In which case, you gently place the right hand on the knee and just gently draw that knee away. Don't force it, just ease it out. Make sure the hips are square to the mat. Now, if you're not feeling this, okay, then what we can look to do is lift that left leg up off the mat. Handy elephant scarf comes in. So I'm going to reach it behind my left leg, however I get it there. It might take me a moment to adjust it. Relax the head down. And then I'm going to just gently ease that leg in towards me. Again, no tension through the shoulders. If it's available to you, then of course you can reach the hands behind the thigh. What I don't want people doing is straining to come through here. Okay, you've just got to keep the shoulders nice and soft. Okay, toes are always nice and active. Okay, lower back presses into the mat. Jawline nice and soft. So you take your choice. Nice long breaths. It's a good job, it's just me showing you a few moves here, because that was my bread machine squawking in the background. Real life, real lockdown life. Okay, so left leg goes down. Okay, and now we're just going to take the right foot down. And you can either keep it bent or lengthen it. and then I'm bringing the left leg in towards the chest. Now I can hold on to that fairly easily, but then I've been doing yoga for a little while. Your ultimate aim is to be hugging that knee in towards the chest. But when you're first starting out, all of this is a bit uncomfortable. Yeah, you're rolling around, we don't want any of that going on in the beginning. So in my opinion, yoga is about sort of easing yourself into postures. You know, it's not just about making that shape. It's about working the muscles and enabling them, facilitating them to be in the right position. I know that not all yoga's like that, and that's absolutely fine. But that's the beauty. There's so many different styles and types of yoga out there. So I've got my scarf, and I'm just putting it behind my thigh, and I'm bringing it in here. So if somebody is hugging their knee right in towards their chest, doesn't matter, great, good for them. You're still getting the same benefit here, okay? So nice steady breaths. Take the tension away from the jawline. And then just gently, if you haven't straightened the leg, then your knee is going to be bending. And then the left ankle comes onto that right knee, okay? Leave the scarf there if you want to just for now, and then ease that left knee away from you. So you're not forcing it away. You certainly, if you're just feeling the stretch here, that's fine. Very much depends on you and your body. When you're ready, if you want to, take your scarf, pop it behind the leg, bring it in towards you. So you want full connection of the lower spine. So tailbone, we're talking about this bit here, like the lower back. So you want to watch, it's not all lifting off the mat, okay? So just make sure it's nice and comfortable there. Toes are turned up, so we always keep the toes nice and active. So you hear people talking about, you know, active toes. That's what they mean. They don't mean like lazy toes. When you're ready, just placing that right leg down to the mat. Okay, I'm taking my scarf away. I'm not going to move it too far away in case we need it again. And then we're just going to take the feet mat width apart. Now, you all may also find that you want something underneath your head, because sometimes, particularly if you're kind of stiff around the upper body and the shoulders, sometimes you might feel you're lying a little bit like this, and the neck is in this really uncomfortable position. Like I said before, this is all about you being comfortable. So I've got my scarf, my cushions are over there, I'm not bothering going and getting those, but you can just put the cushion under your head, so that your spine, your neck is in a nice neutral alignment, so the jaw is kind of nice and comfortable, but you've not got this really uncomfortable extension. And like I say, you often see that if you've got a little bit of tension or rounding through the upper shoulders. Very much depends on your posture, or you know what you do for a job. So taking the soles of the feet mat width apart now, you're going to just take your hands away, palms turning up. And you're just going to very, very slowly sway the knees from side to side. So this is about opening up, so getting mobility through the hips, through the waist as well. Opening up the outside of the thighs, but not forcing it. And this is where you're just checking in with how the sides of your body are feeling. Just swaying the feet from side to side. And then you're going to keep them over to the right hand side. Now, if this is not comfortable, okay, then grab your cushion or whatever you've got, just place it under the knee. If you've got blocks, put your block there. Just place it under the knee. If your left shoulder is lifting off the mat, then just move the knee away a little bit and shift yourself into a position that feels more comfortable for you, okay? Everybody's different and everybody needs to modify in different ways. The same way that we can make asanas, or make postures harder, we can also make them, strip them right back, and so that you're still getting a really lovely experience from the sequence, from the yoga practice. So just gently bringing the knees into the centre, and then when you're ready, dropping the knees over to the left hand side. And then again, just making those little adjustments. Check the right shoulder is down onto the mat, palms away. Make sure the jawline is nice and relaxed. You may even want to turn the head away from the knees, but you might not. And when we're breathing in these twists, in these positions, we're just feeling how the breath is different. So you're breathing into the space that you're creating right the way down the side of the ribs. Now we've just opened up that side, you're breathing into those areas. Are there any niggles on this side that perhaps weren't on the other? And when you're ready, just gently bringing the knees into the centre. And then just holding on to behind the thighs, or, keeping the shoulders nice and soft and bringing the legs in. Ultimately, if you can hug the knees in towards the chest, great, do it, but don't force anything, and just watch your tailbone doesn't start to lift off the mat, so full connection, belly buttons in nice and tight. So you want this engagement of the lower abdominal muscles, okay, so this lower part here, and the pelvic muscles, so that you don't get that little arch of the back, and in time it comes. So when you're ready, we're going to come up into a seated position, and you can either rock up, or people say rock up into seated, okay, or you're just coming over onto the right hand side and finding your way into a seated position. So I'm just going to go through the seated postures. We're just going to go through a little bit of seated, and I'm going to leave it there, and we'll come back to it another time. So sometimes when you're in this seated posture, you get a little bit of this curve through the spine. Sometimes it's because your back, you might have a weakness in the back, or just postural. It's you have to almost encourage yourself all the time to sit upright as if you're against a wall. So a lot of it comes from core strength as well, and training the body to be that way. So you might have spent years, for example, sitting at a desk or working like this. So now it's going to take a little bit of time to open out that front of the body, and it will happen, but you've just got to make it comfortable. So whilst you've got a yoga teacher in front of you and they're going sitting upright in this cross leg, and you think, well, I can't even cross my legs and my back is hurting and this is just really uncomfortable, then just take the legs in front of you, take them away from you. It might be impossible to cross your legs. It might be that you can cross them, but that's becoming really uncomfortable. Cue my very large cushions. I mean, if you have blocks, great. Just, support the knees a little bit. Make it comfortable. If your back's starting to hurt, if you have a block, great. But little trick again is you're putting a little bit of a lift underneath the tailbone, which then just encourages that little bit of length through the spine, and it takes the pressure away from the back. So hopefully you'll feel more comfortable, and you're not concentrating so much on how this hurts, more on what we're doing with our arms, or so there is an element of mindfulness in yoga, and I referred to it in the beginning, that sometimes it is about kind of just dealing a little bit with that, I want to say, discomfort of coming into some of the big stretches or having the shoulders up for a long period of time. But if the focus now is on me reaching up, I don't really want to be worrying about my back. So just make it comfortable. So that's one little trick. Or if you're in a class and you happen to have any of those to hand instantly, you just roll your mat up at the back. Okay, so if you're practicing somewhere and you're like, oh God, I've got nothing. Okay, just literally you can use your mat. Right. So like I say, different yoga teachers will have different practices and they'll encourage you to do different things. But this is me on my YouTube channel, and this is what I would be telling my clients to do to make it more comfortable for them. So, you know, it's teacher dependent. My emphasis is on making it accessible, making it comfortable for people, so they can focus on things, and sometimes these little things can help. So this is when you're in your cross-leg position, and that, once you've made yourself more comfortable doing whatever it is you're doing, okay, that is leaving you free to then start worrying about holding your arms up in the air, okay? And again, you know, they'll be taking some movements around the waist, which we will go into in the next bit of filming, and hopefully my bread machine will not go off in the middle of it. But ultimately, I will take you through the little ways that we can improve the comfort if you're a complete beginner. So hopefully those of you, specifically people watching who may be doing yoga and just like, you might be doing a lot of virtual classes and it's going quite fast paced and you're like, oh, that's uncomfortable, then hopefully this sort of short snippet will enable you to kind of just self-adjust, make yourself more comfortable if it's not coming through perhaps on whatever you're looking at. I obviously will be posting more things, time permitting. As everyone's aware, we're currently in a lockdown situation. So all my classes are being streamed virtually via Zoom, and I've just started posting bits and pieces onto YouTube. So please bear with me and all of the external factors going on. I've got you know, family in the house, I've got the dog, I've got the kitchens over there, things like that, you know, like real life. So please bear with the quality. I think on the last one we had a fly going past the screen, which was just wonderful. Extra yogi points for spotting the fly going across. But anyway, so feel free to click on a couple of the other sequences to practice, but also just try and use these little bits and pieces in your practice if you need to, especially if you're doing classes with me, and I know that people say, oh well, that did just, you know, it'd be useful to know how to modify, because often as teachers, you know, you do show the basic, but then you might assume that people might know it, and then afterwards go, oh, especially in the virtual world where we're seeing people on screens, and it's not like being in the classroom. So I just thought this might be useful. Hopefully you'll feel some benefit out of it, and I will continue with some little seated asanas for beginners, ways that you can adapt it to suit yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Obviously I will post more as I have the time, as and when I have the time to post. And in the meantime, stay safe, everybody, and namaste.